these things, and it was always the same. It was always the same. Lose 5 kilos, gain 10 kilos. I was saying that like it was to me, dieting was like trying to hold a volleyball underwater. Because the second you let go, the second you like have that pizza or even walk by it, poof. So I got to this place. Keep doing that. I got to this place where I was 186 kilos. I sort of had this turning point where, this was in August of 2001, I was driving home from a movie, I remember, and I was thinking about how, like, there was a time when I didn't have to worry about weight, right? I wasn't overly disciplined, I didn't have a weight problem then, I moved to New York, started working on Wall Street, and there's nothing I can do to lose weight. And we have this stereotype that weight is just about, that overweight people are weak and lazy and lack discipline, and they should just eat less. And I used to get this. Every time I walk into a doctor's office, I get this look, like, oh, this guy doesn't care about himself. But I was not weak or lazy. I was running 3 companies at the time. I was working around the clock. I was very determined. I was not weak, and I was spending a lot of money trying to get help. And I wasn't lazy, and I wasn't undisciplined, but I was not able to get rid of this weight, which just kept coming back. And I had to surrender to that. And that was a very powerful experience. I remember this voice kind of came into my head and said, you know what, for whatever reason right now, your body wants to be fat. It was like a switch went off in my body. And I said, as long as that switch is on, as long as your body wants to be fat, there's nothing you can do to stop it. And that was a powerful experience for me. I remember I just pulled off by the side of the road and I just sat there. And I knew it was true. And I decided I was never going to diet again. And instead I was going to try to figure out why my body wanted to be fat in the first place. What was the switch? What went off inside me? Because it wasn't always this case. And I wasn't just being weak and lazy and disciplined. Something's wrong here. There's a metabolic condition, there's a hormonal condition, something's going on. What is it? And fortunately, I had a little bit of a biochemistry background. I went to the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania and studied business, but I was thinking of being a doctor. So I studied the pre-med courses of biochemistry, molecular biology, and organic chemistry, and all these. And that gave me the foundation to do research on the internet. I spent hours and hours a day learning everything I could about weight and hormones involved in weight, but I also studied how stress affects your body. And I studied how nutrition affects your body, but not nutrition like, don't eat fat or something like that, but nutrition in terms of your bacteria in your body and inflammation and things like that. And then right after this, a month later, was September 11th, I was almost on one of the flights in September 11th, and that was a life-changing experience for me. Because I felt like here I was killing myself, and the universe just gave me a second chance. And the thing is, I really hated my life. I didn't like my life. I didn't like it wasn't my path, it was what I was good at. And I was taught as a kid that you do what you're good at, not necessarily what you love. And that was a life lesson for me to have to unlearn that. And that was really hard because I kept fighting that because I was good at it. I'm good with numbers, I'm good with people, all this kind of thing. So I was good at working on Wall Street, but it was not right for me. And my body was communicating that to me more and more. And I decided after that experience that I was living on borrowed time. And I was going to stop living for someday, which we all do. We get this idea, well, I'll work really hard now so I can retire someday, so I have enough money to do what I really want. And I decided I'm just going to do what I really want. At that point, there wasn't too much I could do. But I wanted to just live a really simple life. And I found a beautiful town in Western Australia as part of my travels. And I left New York and moved to Denmark, Western Australia, and started growing my own food and just living a real simple life. And I thought to myself, as long as air is free, as long as I've got food growing in the backyard, and I got a roof over my head, I'm happy. And I just lived for day to day, and did a lot of meditating and praying for guidance and praying for healing. And I stopped trying to lose weight, I gave up on that. But the thing is, the paradox of it all, is that the weight melted off of my body. And I mean melted off. I was not dieting. almost 100 kilos over a 2.5-year period, and that was 12 years ago, and I did not diet. And I still don't. But what I was doing was I was healing. I was healing my body and my mind. So I was eating really healthy foods for the sake of healing and nourishing. So I'd have a green smoothie, I'd go out in the backyard and have fruit or grow vegetables. I was eating real live healthy foods. But if I wanted chocolate or chips or pizza, I still ate it. I didn't have these good days and bad days anymore. I just saw it as calories in, calories out. I used to keep these chocolate almonds in the fridge. And whenever I was hungry, I'd just have one. And if I wanted another one, I'd have another one. It wouldn't turn into a bad day. It's just there, it's done. But when I was eating salad. I was eating lots of salads with flaxseed oil or chia seed oil. I was taking probiotics and digestive enzymes and smoothies and salads. I was plying myself with health and vitality, and I was doing lots and lots of meditating and visualizing. And the weight melted off of my body completely, all of it. I didn't have that extra, like 20 pounds. How do I get it? It just melted. It was done. And that was a really powerful experience. And when that happened, I knew I had a message for the world. And I've been telling that message ever since, and I will continue to tell it. And that is that weight is not about calories in and calories out. It is not about willpower and discipline. And if you have a weight problem, you are not weak. And you are not lazy. It's none of those things. So why would your body want to be fat? That's what I ask myself. So thousands of years ago, when we lived outdoors, we needed weight. We needed weight to protect us against famines. So if you were going through a famine when you lived outdoors thousands of years ago, think about it. It might be 3 months where it's snowing, so it's cold all the time and there's nothing to eat. If that's the case, then having extra weight protects you. It keeps you warmer, right? And it's something you can live off of. It's energy you can live off of. So our ancestors, all of them, almost all of them, were around because our ancestors had the ability to do this. Our ancestors had the ability to survive famines. But when you're in a famine, it's a chronic, low-grade stress, right? What is a stress? A stress is a risk. As far as your body's concerned, a stress is a risk, some sort of risk to your body. So one type of risk is if a tiger's running after you, that's an immediate risk. That's a life or death risk. But a famine's not like that. You're not going to die in 30 seconds. But if you don't take care of it, sooner or later you're going to die. It's low-grade stress. And that chronic low-grade stress causes certain chronic low-grade changes in our hormones. And that specific signature change of hormones, it's a very specific signature change of hormones, alerts your brain to the fact that you're in a famine, and it causes your body to go into fat conservation mode. You become insatiably hungry, and a lot of you know exactly what I'm talking about as I'm about to talk about this. You become insatiably hungry, your metabolism slows down, and everybody says, oh, I've got a slow thyroid. This is part of this survival adaptation. Your thyroid slows down, your metabolism slows down, you become insatiably hungry, you crave junk food, and you lose the ability to burn fat. I'll repeat that. You lose the ability to burn fat. So when people go on a diet, calories in, calories out, nobody even asks the question, do I even have the ability to burn fat? And when this signature hormonal change happens in your body, you lose the ability to burn fat. And this is all survival. Now here's the thing, we don't have famines anymore, but we have lots of stress today. We've got mental, emotional stress, we've got physical stresses, we've got toxins, we've got processed foods, we've got medications, we've got all kinds of emotional traumas that happen. All these different things translate to chemistry in your body. And for some of us, those chronic low-grade stresses cause the exact same signature change in your body's hormones that tricks your body, tricks your brain into activating this fat program, because your brain is programmed that when these hormonal changes take place to gain weight. So if you have some sort of stress in your body that's tricking you to activate your fat programs, and you're in a world of all you can eat, excess, available, empty calorie foods, it's a recipe for disaster. Because no matter how much you eat, the stress doesn't go away. So your body's still tricked into thinking you need more weight. So you have to address the real issue. For me, it was my life, and I wasn't getting out of it. My life was a problem. But for a lot of us, it's we don't have enough sleep, or we've got leaky gut, or we got the wrong bacteria in our intestines. It's a really, really big factor. Or we're having too much processed food, or we're nutritionally starved. So there's a whole range of things that can activate your fat programs and trick your body into wanting to be fat. So the key is to address the real issues so that your body doesn't want to be fat anymore.